Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'll absolutely sign off the code red if you don't subscribe, so be quick. Welcome back to another episode of the Love, Death and Movies podcast, the internet's number one film breakdown and review show, the show that crushes the watch list week after week. Every month is a different genre, every week is a different film in that genre. So follow us on everything. John's the right, let's watch some movies. With me each and every week, Pride of the West Coast, the Bonnie to my Clyde, I guess. Ash vs. Movies. Ash, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, good. And with us for the second time, one of the goats of everything movie podcast related, Ethan Simmie. Ethan, good to see you.
Hello, I am happy to be back talking more Tom Cruise, talking about one of the greatest courtroom dramas ever made, just talking about our Lord and Savior of cinema.
This is funny. I'm peek behind the curtain.
Yeah,
we record
let's
around
prevail, man.
we record around 25 minutes, and then the audio shut off. So that 25 minutes is no longer. So there's going to be a good.
This might actually be better because now I'm halfway done with my drink, and so I'm a little more, I'm a little more caffeined up.
That's what it is.
I'm gonna go.
I'm with you, Ethan.
Feeling a little more caffeine in his feelings, so I think this will make for a good pod.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. Well, I love that attitude. Tell you what, we've done almost 80 episodes and we've only had a couple of technical difficulties, so that's actually pretty damn good. I'm a big AFL fan, Ethan. That's like the sport of Australia, Aussie rules, which is the greatest sport of all time. And a game just started, so I've got it on one screen here as well. So I'm going to be every now and then, if I look and I'm like, that'd be why. It's not because I'm angry at you guys. Yeah, that's all it is.
Good to know.
But we are continuing once again the month of Tom Cruise with A Few Good Men, directed by Rob Reiner in 1992. Budget of 40 mil, and for a courtroom drama, its box office was $243 million, which is extraordinarily huge for that. Especially early 90s Tom Cruise. Like, was he that big to get that? I guess he was, like, to get that much of a draw.
Oscar nominated at the time.
Yeah.
So I mean he was the real deal for sure at this point in time. And I think he was like one of the few guys that like you sell a movie on for sure.
Big time. So quick little synopsis. In the heart of the nation's capital, in a courthouse of the US government, one man will stop at nothing to keep his honor and one man will stop at nothing to find the truth. When cocky military lawyer Lieutenant Daniel Caffey and his co-counsel Lieutenant Commander Joe Galloway are assigned to a murder case, they uncover a hazing ritual that could implicate high-ranking officials such as shady Colonel Nathan Jessup. This is Few Good Men. So guys, once again, Ash, this is your first time watching A Few Good Men. This is your first time watching any of the Tom Cruise movies that we have, which is good fun. I love having like a whole month where one of us hasn't seen any of them because it kind of feels like I'm pitching to you why I love this category, which is good. You've liked everything so far. What did you think of A Few Good Men?
Yeah, I loved it. This is my favorite so far. So out of the ones I've watched, just behind the curtain again, like Collateral, liked it, fun. Minority Report, liked it more. Few Good Men, loved it. Like,
wait, we're on a good trajectory right now.
Yeah, good path.
Definitely like a movie that I'll be thinking, like, you watch new movies throughout the year, like definitely one at the end of the year, I'm going to be thinking like, oh, that was a favorite new watch of the year. Like definitely one of those types of films. So yeah, I loved the pacing. I loved the story. I'll be perfectly honest. I did not know that Sorkin wrote this. So that makes a lot of sense why I like it and like why it works so well, but I actually had no knowledge of any of that going into it. And obviously I love Rob Reiner films. So like it was, perfect recipe going into it. But I was blown away by the storytelling and the use of like kind of weaving, in and out of time, and all the acting performances are super great. But yeah, Tom Cruise definitely stand out for me. It took me from being like pretty neutral on him to being like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
All-star cast as well. Of course,
absolutely.
Nicholson and Cruise also got Demi Moore and Kiefer Sutherland and
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
We didn't in the first 20 minlike we didn't talk about Kevin Bacon yet. He's unreal. That haircut should be illegal. Like,
yeah, it's awful.
That's terrible. He looks like a Lego. Ethan, what do you think of A Few Good Men?
A Few Good Men is a perfect movie. It's a 5-star film. It is arguably Sorkin's best script. I say with as I wince because obviously he's made some of the greatest scripts of cinema history. I think it's Rob Reiner's. I think it's his best movie, but find me on a different day and I'll say it's When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, I love that.
I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. I think in the Mount Rushmore of courtroom dramas, to me, the Mount Rushmore of Tom Cruise and one of his many facets of what he can do, I am elated that you asked me to come speak on such a wonderful film.
Nice. And we're doing it twice as well. So you get to
I know.
speak about
Even better.
Yeah,
Even better.
this is
Run it
great.
back.
Couple fun facts for you guys. By the way, I love Few Good Men. I watched it the first time during like high school when we were studying up on different ways of writing, where it's like novel writing or different ways to tell a story. It's like novel writing and then it's like script writing. And this was like one that was really focused on because it was like there wasn't much else to tell a story rather than dialogue, which Ethan, you said it best before, where it's like this is a movie of monologues, and it's like it works so goddamn well. If it wasn't for a great writer like young Aaron Sorkin at the time, then this wouldn't work, which is awesome. But this was based on a play from Aaron Sorkin as well. So the original play was inspired by an actual code red at Guantanamo Bay. Lance Corporal David Cox and 9 other enlisted men tied up a fellow Marine and severely beat him for snitching to the Naval Criminal Investigation Service. Cox was acquitted and later honorably discharged. In 1994, David Cox mysteriously vanished and his bullet-riddled body was found 3 months later and his murder remains unsolved. That's horrifying. So Aaron Sorkin was super young at that time. So Aaron Sorkin said that he enjoyed working with Rob Reiner, even though the director ordered him to make countless rigorous revisions of his screenplay. One major revision, unlike the play, where a doctored logbook is the smoking gun that gives Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee, Tom Cruise, the break that he needs. Reiner insisted that Tom Cruise's Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee win the case on courtroom skills alone. And I think that's the perfect way for this film, especially the way that Tom Cruise is in his persona. I think it's kind of the perfect way. Don't you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that because so much of his character is going from where he starts kind of not caring, that blasé attitude, to actually like trying to win on skill and like through studying the case and trying to find these loopholes and actually like get these guys. I just think that it's the only way it could have gone. I don't think it would have been as believable as an audience member, at least, that he would just, have like that smoking gun perfect thing that he needed. And obviously we wouldn't have some of those great moments with him and Jessup and him and Kendrick.
Yeah, Ms. Kendrick. I think my short 2 cents on this is I'm glad that they went that way. The cracking Kendrick and then cracking Jessup doesn't work if he has a smoking gun to aid him. It's not as rewarding. It's not as successful. It's not as interesting for us as a viewer. So I'm really glad that they kind of fought against some of these studio notes and kept things the way that make more sense for this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of studio notes which we'll go into. That was stupid. Well, not stupid, but like would have detracted away from what we originally got, and it's good to see.
It would have taken out all the stakes for Kaffee. It would have just made his journey ultimately quite meaningless, honestly.
Yeah, it would have been absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. Jesus, 3 words in. Start of the trip. At the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base in Cuba, Private William Santiago, a United States Marine, is tied up and beaten in the middle of the night. After he's found dead, Lance Corporal Harold Dawson and Private First Class Loudon Downey are accused of his murder and face a court-martial. Their defense is assigned to United States Navy JAG Corp Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee, too many titles, a callow lawyer with an impressive and expedient track record for plea bargains without any court appearance. So he never goes to trial. He's always hired just to get a plea bargain and fuck off after that, which is, hey, he's made an entire career off that. Another JAG attorney, Lieutenant Commander Joe Galloway, Kaffee's superior, suspects something is amiss. Santiago died after he broke the chain of command to ask to be transferred away. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Markison, advocated for Santiago to be transferred, but Base Commander Colonel Nathan Jessup, played by Jack Nicholson, ordered Santiago's platoon commander. ordered his platoon commander, Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, which is Kiefer Sutherland, to train, in quotation marks, Santiago on the basis they are all at fault for Santiago's substandard performance. So Galloway suspects that Dawson and Downey carried out what's called a Code Red Order, which is a violent extraditional punishment that given by a high-ranking official. Galloway is bothered by Caffey's blasé approach, and Caffey resents Galloway's interference, which makes them a perfect film couple. Pow, 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 pow. What do you guys think of the beginning of this film? And anything kind of to add here?
Yeah, no, I really like the way this film sets up. I think it's good that we start with what it is that happened, like just kind of like open right with that, and it's quick and it kind of sets the tone. But yeah, I love that the first like almost 58 minutes we said roughly of the movie is just really these long conversations and monologues, like Ethan said, just getting to know these characters and figuring them out. And also you're learning all about the history of what's happened there, and probably that this isn't the first time this type of things happened there. And just, it just kind of sets the tone for everything that's to come in the courtroom portion of the movie. So I really enjoy it. I really love the character of Jo. I think that she's super badass. I think that it's really cool, that scene where she comes in, talks to the two officials, and then when they're like, can you leave the room so we can, talk behind your back? Like, she's not fazed by it. She's just like, sure, sounds good.
Just the way it is.
Yeah, she's not impacted by any of these men who are kind of constantly just giving her flack or saying inappropriate things to her, or, kind of looking down upon her, being a woman in the military. So I just think her character is really cool. And the way that she approaches, all of these people she has to work with. And then obviously, like I've said, I love Tom Cruise as Caffey. I think he's just an interesting guy. He's charming. He's just got this interesting approach to, the job of being a lawyer, which, most people are in that job because they genuinely have a passion for it. But obviously we learn more about his father and all of that. And yeah, I just think it's really interesting where he starts. So I like the way we get to know him at the beginning. And obviously all the baseball stuff is really fun, and just like there's a lot of comic relief, with his character. So I like that.
Amen.
Yeah. I mean, look, this movie doesn't really start until 58 minutes and 15 seconds when Caffey decides to pursue the not guilty charge, which I think is incredible stuff. We're sitting on our hands for an hour before this movie really kicks off. A couple of quick bullet points that I wanted to say to kind of what we covered so far. Kind of talked about this, Ash, but like a movie of monologues, the first time we're introduced to Jessup, he talks for like 11 or 12 minutes, and like that's what he does, which I think is incredible. Playing baseball, Tom Cruise, love that he sticks to the bit of playing sports in his movies, even though he's terrible at sports. He's not any good at softball here. It seems like his team is really suffering.
After you mentioned that, it's just all clicked now. Of like every time, that's so funny.
Pretty much every movie. I mean, football, War of the Worlds, obviously. Anyway, so 2 more things to say. I love the first time that he's talking to Jo, and basically his first response is, "Wow, I'm sexually aroused, Commander." I think that this movie is both hilarious, very erotic, and also a great narrative on power dynamics and women within those governmental structures and power dynamics, all at the same time, which I think is worth noting. And then an all-time eating movie. Caffey's eating an apple in the office. He's drinking a Yahoo after the softball game. He's eating a donut in the hallway. He's always eating. And I commend Tom Cruise for eating and doing that, and thinking best when he holds a baseball bat. Just
he
real.
with the baseball bat's mad. Like,
incredible
stuff.
It's
like how he thinks.
Yeah. I love the eating. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like it just really showcases a person who cannot be bothered whenever they're eating, like walking and talking and eating and snacking while you're having like a serious conversation. Like Caffey is so unbothered by so many of these people. He's, Jo and the other attorney that Kevin Bacon plays. Like it is really funny that he's eating through all of those moments in the movie. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point to bring up. So Caffey and Galloway question Jessup and others at the Guantanamo Bay and are met with contempt from the colonel. Caffey negotiates a plea bargain with the prosecutor, U.S. Marine Judge Advocate Captain Jack Ross, for involuntary manslaughter with a sentence of 2 years, but serving only 6 months, avoiding a possible life sentence if found guilty at trial. Dawson and Downey refused the plea bargain, insisting that Kendrick gave them the Code Red order. They never intended to kill Santiago, and a plea bargain would be dishonorable. Love this section of the film. totally understand how and like you mentioned this, Ethan, before. It's like it makes the ending hurt a lot. Of this film, they don't care about jail time. They don't care about that. It's like it's all about honor and serving their country. That's how they kind of saw it. And yeah, I find this really interesting. And this also shows a little bit of the dynamics between Kathy and the two that are in question. Especially, like you're supposed to salute when an officer's leaving the room, and he puts his hands in his pockets. That's like one of the biggest signs of disrespect in the military. I found that really fascinating. So initially intending to get removed as counsel at the arrangement, Kathy unexpectedly enters a plea of not guilty for the defendants, and this is where you'll chat about 50 minutes in, game on. Realizing that he was chosen to handle the case to accept a plea to keep the matter quiet, he decides to put up a defense. So this is where it all starts, don't you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think going into this for the first time, thinking it's a courtroom drama, I do remember thinking to myself, that's interesting. How long have I been watching this? And like, we haven't even really gotten into it. Like, it is like an interesting thing when you go into this movie expecting that. So it was not like a bad thing at all. I did not find that it was like a bad decision or like too long or anything. It was just interesting when you have a movie where so much happens there that they take that long to get to it. But I think it's all important, build up of what's happened and who these people are, and obviously convincing Kathy to really take this seriously and actually try for once, and really see what he can do. So yeah, I really like it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, like, I do really think it's really all structured around Kathy's inner motivations and like him trying to make this worth his while, and really him trying to kind of take after his dad, but in a newfound sense and a newfound kind of pride. There is a moment here where basically Kendrick tells him that you got bullied into that courtroom by the memory of a dead lawyer, referencing his dad. Incredibly raw, incredibly hurtful, but really it is right around this 58-minute mark where we decide to go not guilty and pursue charges that things kind of morally open up for Kathy. And I love that it's kind of a Sorkin special to just like investigate all these characters for such a long time before anything crazy goes down. And I really love that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Guys, we're at a good point. We're now past the point where we got destroyed. And everything's still working. We're still good.
Yay.
Nice, great. Marcuson meets Kathy in secret and says that Jessup never ordered a transfer for Santiago. I always say, whenever I see Santiago as a name, I always think of Anchorman. Go fuck yourself, Santiago. The defense establishes that Dawson had received a negative performance review from Kendrick and denied promotion for smuggling food to a Marine who had been restricted to bread and water, which is straight torture. Dawson had been punished for disobeying an illegal order, and the defense, through Downey, proves that illegal code reds had been ordered before. However, under cross-examination, Downey admits that he was not present when Dawson received the supposed code red. Ashamed that he had failed to protect a Marine under his command and unwilling to testify against Jessup, his lifelong friend, Marcuson commits unaliving himself before he can testify. So I found this part really frustrating because we got all this build up of we now have the silver bullet, and we're putting this guy wants to testify. At least at first he did. He got him fully protected under full protective guard. Silver bullet to just absolutely nail Giuseppe, and then he's just like, I can't do it. This isn't for me. Writes that letter, puts his uniform on, and ends his life. I just found this I know it's supposed to be frustrating, but I found this frustrating. I was like, was this needed? But it was, of course. I get it. It's kind of the same way that I'm not glad that someone died, but you know what I mean? I'm glad that it's one on base of merit of skill in the courtroom rather than just we've got the guy that's gonna that's gonna destroy your defense. Because that would take away from Kathy's entire character, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a progressively increasing stakes of Caffey having to perform on his own, and like that's as high stakes as it gets. Like he was his out. He was the smoking gun. He was the scapegoat. Like he was going to take it down, and unfortunately, not the case anymore. So what do we do? Like Caffey has to trudge forward on his own, and this kind of goes hand in hand with like basically Joe telling him day of, like, if you don't think he's going to crack, if you don't think you can do it, do not do it. Do not pursue it, because you will be charged yourself. You will be charged with all of these things because you are bringing Jessup onto the stand, potentially under falsified terms. So I think this particular scene of Markinson and the decisions that he makes in that room act on several levels, but I think the most important level is that there are things that Caffey can't control when it comes to a case. And Caffey has to understand that. And until now, he has not understood that because he's taking good plea bargains. He's taking good plea deals. He is savvy. He is smart. He is good looking. He can talk well. And things have kind of gone his way. And this does not go his way. Yeah. Find it incredible that Markinson came back and just pulled the ultimate, like, I'm gonna be hanging out in the back of your car and scare the fuck out of you. Really cool stuff. Yeah. I just have on in all caps on my notes, like Markinson death, like 7 exclamation points. It's a big deal.
Yeah, that took me out. That completely took me off guard, because it's one of those things that you just completely forget about. Ash, did that take you off guard? Watching the film?
Yeah, a little bit. I was thinking about it as you were talking, saying it was frustrating, and I agree, and it did kind of catch me off guard. But at the same time, in the car, he says something to Caffey, kind of when he talks about putting him on the stand, and he doesn't want to be excused or pardoned from what he did. Like Markinson is actually like a good person who believes in honor and believes in the code and everything. So he doesn't want to get out of this or like get immunity. He wants to pay for what he contributed to through faking, the logs and things like that. Yeah. So I think that it makes sense that he would do this. He was so miserable with what he had done that this kind of was the obvious next thing. And the way he got, suited up, the way that whole scene is filmed is just masterful on every level.
Good.
But
just the buttons, the shot of the buttons, it's so good.
The cinematographer on this film, I had to look it up because I was so entranced by it, has done so many Tarantino's, other Rob Reiner films. Like it makes so much sense. So much of what they've done is kind of a certain style of film. But anyways, I thought that it was actually a really perfect ending for his character based on where he had gotten to mentally. But I do agree, it was definitely took me by surprise a little bit. But yeah, I didn't even Downey becomes a witness. Like Caffey kind of has all these witnesses that he thinks are going to end up all kind of working in his favor, and watching them all kind of slowly drop. It's like Downey didn't even actually witness it. Yeah. He was just told by Dawson. So then it's like, there's just all these things that are revealed that make it to where, okay, you're literally running out of options. What are you going to do to get this? And so I think it works really well for the tension for the movie.
Is Downey the one that kind of breaks on the stand?
He's the one that has trouble when he gets overwhelmed, and he's very quiet, and
and he turns to the other guys like, help.
Yeah. What do I say?
Yeah. That scene was tough to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're like, oh man, yeah, it's tough. Hard. Let's continue without Markinson's testimony. Oh no, Caffey believes the case is lost. All right, that's the credits. Movie's over. But he returns home in a drunken stupor, lamenting that he fought the case, risking long sentences for Dawson and Downey instead of accepting a lenient deal. Galloway encourages Caffey to call Jessup as a witness, despite the risk of being court-martialed for challenging a high-ranking official without evidence. At the Washington Navy...
Can I say something really, really quickly?
Absolutely.
Really, really, really fast.
Take it.
Perfect movie, 5 stars, incredible stuff. How the fuck does Caffey sober up so goddamn quickly to go into the courtroom, to call Jessup into the courtroom? It doesn't make any sense. I think it is implied that there's a 24-hour waiting period after he calls Jessup to allow for travel time for him to get to the stand, in which case that might be the what is happening here. But he is in a drunken stupor, and then he drives down the street to catch Joe in the rain. I think the only time we see it rain in this movie. Important, very fascinating.
Yeah.
And I commend Tom Cruise. With the good looks must come a low, blood alcohol level. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be it. That's really
something to say.
Yeah, it must just be he must be pounding. What do you call long blacks over in America? Americanos? Is that what you call? What do you call?
Oh, okay.
We've
An Americano, espresso and
Okay.
water.
Yeah.
Is that America? Is that a thing in America? Is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm.
Americanos? Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
long.
it
That's
tastes
long.
like dirt, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Good.
long black
Yeah.
here. Where it's just water and coffee. It's like ugh.
No
Yeah,
good.
we've got like yeah. I was looking at different ways that Americans call specifically you, Ash. How you call coffees over there? That
I drink cold brew. I just say cold
hey,
brew.
cold brew is good. I'm all about
Yeah.
we call cold brew is good. Cold brew is good. We can agree there. Me and Ash have a lot of I don't know, cultural differences when it comes to Australia and America.
It's not me. I can't help.
Yeah.
This is where I am from. I can't help.
Yeah.
I can't control
Yeah.
America. Trust me. I wish I could.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just like Kathy in that sense, you know. Only so many things you can control.
Exactly.
Me and Ethan, we're one of the few good men. Okay, but there's a lot
We
of
try.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. There's a lot of bad. Anyway, at the Washington Navy Yard court, Jessup spars with Kaffee's opening questions, but is unnerved when Kaffee, springing a trap, points out a contradiction in his testimony that Guantanamo Marines would never disobey an order to not touch Santiago, yet he ordered Santiago off the base, fearing for Santiago's safety. Good point. Good point there, Kaffee. So Kaffee also calls into question Jessup's claim that Santiago would be put on the first flight home. Upon further questioning, and disguised by Kaffee's attitude, Jessup extols the militaries and his own importance to national security. Kaffee asks if Jessup ordered the code red, to which he bellowed, "You're goddamn right I did!" Which is probably the best impression you'll ever find on the internet right there. That's unbelievable. Jessup tries
That
to...
was really good.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of how he delivers these lines, because if you watch it again, none of his face moves but his mouth. He's like, "You goddamn right I did!" I love it.
He's a machine. He's a man of the
Jack
government.
Nicholson way.
He's so sick. Jessup tries to leave the courtroom, but is arrested. I love when he tries to leave, and
Incredible.
the judge is like, "No, honey. Don't you do it." Dawson and Downey are cleared of the murder and conspiracy charges, but are found guilty of conduct unbecoming and will be dishonorably discharged. Downey does not understand what they did wrong. Dawson says that they failed to defend those who are too weak to fight for themselves. Kaffee tells Dawson that it's not necessary to wear a patch on one's arm to have honor. One of the best lines in the film that is so underappreciated. Dawson acknowledges Kaffee as an officer by rendering a salute. Kaffee and Ross exchange pleasantries before Ross departs to arrest Kendrick. That is A Few Good Men. Guys, we got there. 0 technical difficulties as well. It's kind of wild. That was all one go. What do you guys think of A Few Good Men? I'm gonna start with Ethan, because I want to finish on Ash, because it's her first time watch. Ethan, what do you think of A Few Good Men? And give me your star rating. I think you said at the beginning anyway, but like reaffirm it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a hard 5 stars for me. I think this movie is incredible. Of course, it's not perfect. I think it's perfect in my opinion. A couple quick things that I wanted to mention here at the very end that is worth it to me. The continually escalating close-ups that we get on the stand of not only Jessup but of Kaffee as well, and all of it culminating in like, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth, you're goddamn right I did. That is iconic in its own right, but what is like equally iconic in my opinion is Kaffee being like, what do you pack when you come to DC for a day? What did you do?
Yeah.
Did you fold your things? I think that's interesting. I think that's something only Sorkin can really pull off in that capacity. I feel like I should have mentioned this before, but when Kaffee's catching his second wind and it has the bat, right before he has the bat, he's shooting hoops in his room on his little door, basketball hoop. He goes 0 for 4. Tough beat for my guy Kaffee, not a basketball player. And then the final thing worth mentioning here, the entire movie is shot in a full screen aspect ratio. The only time we get a widescreen aspect ratio is our final moment, our final picture of the wide shot of the courtroom with only Kaffee leaving the courtroom. That's incredible stuff. Wonderful decision. I love this movie.
Oh, now I want to rewatch it again now.
I know. I feel like I'm going to give it Well, spoiler. I feel like I'm going to give it 5 stars on rewatch, but I gave it 4.5.
That's good.
And mainly because I'm trying not to give movies on first watch like 5 stars anymore because I really want to like give it time to like soak in and rewatch it.
Give into the dark side, Ash.
But
I know.
it feels like
I
one
know.
that you can give 5 stars, doesn't it?
I almost like want to have time to, give
Yeah.
it that increased rating. But yeah, anyways, I agree with everything you said, Ethan. I love all like the stuff you brought up because I really enjoyed getting to watch Tom Cruise morph into like that more confident like lawyer. Like even when he's doing the bit with the other soldier who comes in and says, the guy, I think Kevin Bacon says something about like something being in the manual. And he's like, it's not in there, sir. Like the code red. And then he's like,
so good.
what about the mess hall? Is that
Where's
in
the
there?
mess hall? Oh, incredible shit.
That was when I
like
knew.
instant as well.
Yeah. I knew that we were leading to something good because that was like the first time he really got to showcase that like lawyer wit. And then he got to do it with Kendrick and then obviously ending with Jessup. I think it was all just perfection. I love a good courtroom drama. I love these types of movies and shows. And so that last chunk was pretty perfect for me. So yeah, Demi Moore, absolute 90s babe, which we should do a draft of at some point. But yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah.
All the montages with the 3 of them, some of my favorite moments in the movie. No talking or anything, just montages of them working on the case. Yeah, love the ending. Jack Nicholson, he's so good. Tom Cruise, so good.
We should do a Demi Moore month.
Would love to. And I can show you Now and Then because that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Let's put it on the list.
All right.
I'd love that. That'd be good fun.
On the list.
Because I want us to do a podcast on Substance. I feel like we need to. That'd be good.
For sure.
I love that fucking movie. Yeah, I love this movie. This movie is a 4.5 for me. I agree. I think more. It's like I said this about Minority Report. Minority Report and A Few Good Men are kind of the same film in a way that like the more I watch each of them, the more I love them. And A Few Good Men especially. I think A Few Good Men is like one of the best courtroom dramas of all time. Also, courtroom dramas is slowly becoming one of my favorite genres.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most underappreciated movies of the last 10 years is The Trial of the Chicago 7. Again, Sorkin. Which like I fucking love. Sorkin knows how to write a conversation better than anyone else. I believe. I think this movie is just has so much sauce. I think it's perfectly casted. The whole cast is stacked. But I think that this really is an argument to anyone that thinks that Tom Cruise can't act. I think he's just so goddamn good. Him being able to play off Jack Nicholson and hold his own shows how good of an actor he is. But you said something really interesting, Ethan, of like those close-up shots where that last passage, it made it look like they were the only 2 people in the room.
Yes.
That like everyone else is
One-on-one
blacked out
battle.
around them. And that's what kind of made Jessup like drop his guard and reveal he's just like, you goddamn right I did. Like like that's what I really, and when he said that, you could see the look on Kathy's face where he's just like, I fucking got him. He's like, but he doesn't like, he's just like shocked. He's like in shock. And he's just like, oh, it's so goddamn good.
I think he like looks at Joe even, and you can just kind of
He's
see
like,
the
"Did that
unspoken
just
thing.
happen?"
Like, I got him. Like,
Yeah.
let me do this. Like, I can do this.
Yeah, it's so goddamn good. I love this movie. This movie's fucking spectacular. I think it's a great movie. I'm glad you got to watch it the first time as well, Ash. So that is A Few Good Men. So please, next week, do watch Jerry Maguire to finish off our month of Tom Cruise. And then we'll be heading on into a new month after that, which I wonder what it's going to be. We know. I'll tell you what it is after, Ethan, so I don't keep you. But
privilege info.
yeah, amen. Yeah, it is. But until then, we've got one little game that we'll go through. Another classic draft, which will be good fun. We're doing best or most iconic one-liners in movies, which is good fun. So I think it's like our favorite. It doesn't have to be like constituted as the best. Like if there's ones that like you love, you can put them in. So I did the wheel draft order. So it'll be Ash, then Ethan, and then myself, Harry. So Ash, 5 picks each. Ash, first pick. What is your favorite of the best one-liners in movies?
This is so hard because there's so many different options and so many different genres and like types of one-liners. But one that just always, I feel like I say it a lot in my life and just is forever iconic for me is "You Shall Not Pass" from
good.
Fellowship.
Good.
My favorite Lord of the Rings movie. I always think of it. So.
Oh, that's such
So
a
I'm gonna
good
pick
place to
first.
start.
It's a good spot. Am I next?
Yes,
I'm drafting
yeah,
next?
you are next, yes.
Okay. Let's let's just start out with something important to me. I'm going to be going, R.I.P. Val Kilmer. I'm going to be going for Heat. The action is the juice.
Love it.
Action is the
I
juice.
have the action is the juice. I have this tattooed on my body, and
Fuck
it's
yeah,
very
you
important
do.
to me because, for me, the action is the juice.
Heat is incredible.
Val Kilmer is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, dude. That was a tough one to lose. That one.
Yeah.
Tough loss.
Absolutely.
I adore Godfather, but I'm not going to take the classic one. I'm going to take Leave the Gun, take the cannoli. Yeah.
I thought so.
Leave the Gun.
Very good pick. This Leave the Gun, Take the Cannoli was drafted on our what did we call it? Movie quotes draft.
Oh, really? That's sick.
Sophie Holsinger, Kevin Mikos, and myself, we did a movie quotes draft a while back, but this one was taken on that draft.
I love
Very
that.
important quote.
I love that. That's great. I kind of want to have like my strategy here is kind of to have like a little mixture. So I got The Godfather and another mobster film I am going to include, which is When Harry Met Sally. I'll have what she's having.
Damn it.
Wow. Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was definitely on my list.
Okay. Another Rob Reiner picture. I'll have what she's having. Okay.
It's great. Quote.
Good choice.
That diner is so famous for one quote. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meg Ryan, just kind of in that moment, you're just like, wow, she might be the best to ever be in a rom-com. Incredible stuff.
Yep.
Meg Ryan, speaking of Tom Cruise, the Top Gun connection.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I am in the middle. I don't like being in the middle. I'm going to take, I got an action movie. I'm going to go to a romantic noir. I'm going to go We'll Always Have Paris.
Oh.
Casablanca.
Good.
Love that. Okay.
I like to choose that one over, Here's Looking at You, Kid. I like We'll Always Have Paris a little bit more.
I think
personal.
I prefer the other one, but I like them both a lot.
Cool. That was a really nice compliment. That was backhanded. Appreciate that.
I do also love from
Was
Casablanca. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, like Casablanca, the whole thing. Quotable.
Yeah, the whole thing, like every line. But I do like even you just like saying out loud, "We'll always have Paris." I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
I know.
We'll always have the movie draft podcast episode that we did, Ethan.
Always.
That's just true. It'll always be out there for the world to see.
Amen.
Okay. I think it's so hard for me to pick from like my favorite movies. There's so many iconic lines.
Sure.
I think I'll go with, how about You're Gonna Need a Bigger Boat?
Yep.
I feel like that is definitely on the list of iconic lines.
I'm not even looking at my list until like maybe Ethan's going because I'm like, I'm just gonna be disappointed.
Sure.
And how about gosh. I feel like I want a comedy on my list as well. I feel like Rush Hour. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I feel like is from Rush Hour is definitely up there for me.
Nice.
I've never seen that film, and I don't understand that quote. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like that's one that I've been saying since I was like a young teenager. It's so iconic. I mean, if you've seen it, it's Chris Tucker.
Yeah,
that's good.
An all-time great. Let's see. Okay. What do we do? A lot of good stuff out there. I'm gonna get an important one off the list for me. Something that might not win me the draft here, but it's okay. I'm kind of, again, I said I'm deep in the drink and I'm having a good time. I'm feeling a little caffeine pilled, and talking about a movie that I personally love, it kind of spurs me to choose another thing that I personally love. So for me, I am going to be drafting. Let's see if I can get my notes straight. Will you guys accept this? Because it is a quote, but it's also part of a song. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
I like it.
I
Acceptable?
love it.
Willy Wonka? Okay.
Yep.
Nice. I just want to give a shout out to my wife. She texted that to me while we were potting, and she gets the credit for that one.
Nice.
Love it.
Next time you're on, she can provide her 5 picks as well, and we can ghost draft her. Like,
Yeah, no, this is a great idea. I'll just turn into a vessel for her drafting.
That'd be good
priority.
fun. She hasn't had a second on the podcast, wins it. Like, that'd be
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be
It wouldn't
great.
surprise me.
Okay, sweet. I'm gonna go with. I think this is like one of the greatest final lines of a film because it immediately would make you want to see the sequel instantly. Is roads where we're going? We don't need roads. From Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Roads.
Very good. Iconic.
We're going. We don't need roads. Back to the Future. Cool. All right. So this is where it kind of gets a bit funky. Ash, I was gonna take Jaws. So good work for doing that one. I could do. I want to finish with my actual favorite quote that no one's going to take. I just think it's the greatest line. But
I'm also pursuing that endeavor.
yeah, I'm like it's just a random quote, but it's like it's not going to be on anyone's lists or anything. So I'm just going to keep that to 5th. But
Sure about that? I don't know.
Wait, there was one that I saw that I'm like that would be good. It would be.
Do you guys want to do 6 actually, just
Yeah, we can do 6.
for fun?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Hell yeah, brother!
Yeah.
Make it 16. Let's go.
Well, that's great because there's a couple that I want to include. That's awesome.
Oh, good.
The Silence of the Lambs. I'm having an old friend for dinner.
That's literally like that was my review of the movie that I just rewatched it last week.
I'm having an old
Great
friend
pick.
for dinner. It has so many meanings.
So good. Exactly. It's so good.
It's also insanely sinister.
That's a good
I
one.
love it.
I may be double dipping into the romance a little bit too much, but you know what? It's okay. We're going 6. I feel like I have an extra slot
Yeah.
here that I can afford to get something
You can do
that I
whatever
want.
the fuck you want as well. You can do whatever the hell you want.
From Before Sunset, I'm going to be taking Baby, You Are Gonna Miss That Plane.
Yes.
One of the best final lines of a film just of all time.
That's so good.
That's
To be honest, that's a quote that might win you this entire draft. That right there. That's a great
good one.
pick. Baby, you're gonna miss that plane.
I have a Before Sunset t-shirt with a map of Paris on the back with all of the lyrics for Celine's song that she sings to Jesse written out on the back of my shirt. And every time I put it on, I weep.
Oh, that's
pretty
really
fun.
good. That's good. Ash, you have 2.
Great pick. Yeah.
You got 2, Ash, yeah.
Okay. So I think the first one, I'm going to go with my favorite movie of all time. I'm just really torn on which one to take because there's so many good ones. As much as Mia Wallace is my favorite character, I think Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction is the most iconic one-liner, just one after the other. But I guess I'll go with Does He Look Like a Bitch? Because say that like
That's
weekly.
a really good one, yeah.
I was gonna say, is it Royale with cheese? So that's way better. Does he look like a bitch?
They're all good.
I was gonna say, motherfucker, do you?
Yeah. English motherfucker. Do
Or
you speak?
it's the brown one. It's the brown one that has big bad motherfucker on it.
That was divine intervention.
Mm-hmm. There's just endlessly. I do. That's some gourmet shit, Jimmy. That's
$7
like good for me.
Gourmet
Is that a
shit.
$7 milkshake?
Yeah. Speaking of movies on 35 millimeter, I got to see that at the New Beverly last year for 30th anniversary, and it's my favorite movie of all time. It was
the new Bev Flex. Holy cow!
It was the best experience ever. I definitely recommend going if you can.
Lucky, yeah, lucky.
Nice.
Okay.
You have one more.
I do. Let's see. I want one from Almost Famous because I love that movie, and there's so many great. Just for a fun one, I know there's like some great like Philip. We talked about him earlier. Philip Seymour Hoffman. I cannot say his name. Has a great one in that, but I think I'm actually gonna go with like a fun one. I'm gonna take I Am a Golden God because I just think it's fucking hilarious.
I am a golden god because now I know that from Always Sunny.
No, me too. And I saw that and I was like, is this where it came from? Is this like the origin of it?
What's that? What movie is that? Sorry.
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. That's right. I was thinking Along Came Polly, and I was like, I get all of these movies all confused sometimes.
Okay. I gotta think a little bit more now.
Final pick, huh?
Final 2 picks. Oh, you got one more pick, yeah, Ash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's tough because the one that I want. Okay. Well, that would be two rather vulgar quotes. I don't know how I feel about having two on my team. I'm good with one. I'm not sure the people would like two. You know, I think one is fair. Okay. I'm gonna go. Can I take Sorry, my Prada is at the cleaners along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip flops.
Nice.
You douchebag.
Okay,
I'll take
I
it.
had this on my list. I didn't know if it was too
have that?
long, so I removed it.
That's can I Harry? What's the ruling? Can I have
No,
that?
you can take it.
I'm
I can have
okay
it.
with taking it. Yeah, absolutely.
This
Great.
was before we had our conversation earlier about like what kind of quotes counted. I had removed it. Such a good line.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a shout out to Sophie Holsinger, co-host of the Movie Draft podcast. She drafted that. Thanks for the heads up.
So fucking good.
That's so good.
I love Andrew Garfield. He's like one of my favorite actors. Cool.
Harry's got two left.
That's so good. I'm gonna go with. Well, I'm gonna write it out first so I don't fuck it up.
I tried while you're writing this. I will say, earlier I showed my wife about a 5.5 minute clip of Babylon where Gene Smart and Brad Pitt are speaking about the, you'll live with angels and ghosts whenever somebody spins a reel through a sprocket. I was just gonna float out if I could take that whole monologue, but I figured the answer would be no. So I tried.
Yeah. Respect.
I'm gonna go with. Why the fuck is it between that and Muhammad?
From Superbad.
From Superbad.
Wow, Superbad. I had a Superbad quote on my short list.
Why the fuck is it between McLovin and Muhammad? Basically,
Muhammad's like the most common name ever. Read a fucking book or something.
I
love that movie.
I had written down "fuck me," right? From the party.
Me, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing about my back, Jules.
Fuck me, right?
That's
Oh man, I kind of wish I would have taken that.
Emma Stone, kind of an all-time hottie in that movie. I'll be honest.
That and like,
Definitely.
one of my other favorite is what's his name? The guy that hits Seth with the car and takes him to the party. He's like, so you guys on MySpace? I love that every time he
that
says
actor
that.
always just pops up and stuff. He's so funny.
He's Doyle in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
He's also in I Love You Man. He's like the friend from the gym.
Yeah. That and be prepared to be fucked by the long dick of the law. All right, my final quote is my favorite quote of all time. It's from To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's during Atticus Finch's final closing statement, and he just stops and there's like a good 10 seconds of silence. He just looks to the jury and goes, "In the name of God, do your duty." And that's the entire film as one quote, where it's just like absolute desperation of like, just do your duty. Like, prejudice aside, in the name of God, do your duty.
That's a great movie or a book adaptation movie. I feel like that's actually like a really well done one.
Now that'd be a fun movie draft episode. Okay, I'm also going with my favorite quote from my favorite movie. A little less serious than yours, Harry. Holy shit, I'm gonna come, from Uncut Gems.
That's great.
And the way that Sandler looks into the camera, even though he's wearing sunglasses, he just like slowly lifts his head up, and he says this while he's filleting a fish because there is a supposed opal inside of it. I don't know how movies can ever get better than that.
Oh, that is a amazing ending for your draft, Ethan.
Thank you. I didn't get the chance to draft it last on the movie quotes draft. I drafted it in the middle and unfortunately kind of lost the steam.
Okay.
So I'm glad I could make up for that here.
Save it for the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to take one of my favorite movie lines of all time. It's very unserious, more in that vein. Don't say and stuff. Just say there's whores here. From The Nice Guys.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
From The Nice Guys. Good pick. I'm a little perplexed. Nobody chose "May the Force be with you."
I know.
Kind of the biggest movie quote of all time.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's I'll be back, everything like that. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of things out there.
Not the biggest like Star Wars fanatic. I think it's very iconic, but yeah, not something I like.
Yeah.
Not true to me, you know.
I get that.
Okay.
I really wanted to take what's your favorite scary movie? That's probably
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, because I got fucking Ghostface tattooed on me.
Scream. Okay.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's what I wanted for sure. That'd be my pick that I
Yeah.
should have probably gone for. But to recap, Ash, you had You Shall Not Pass from Lord of the Rings. You're going to need a bigger boat from Jaws. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth from Rush Hour? Does he look like a bitch from Pulp Fiction? I am a golden god, or I am the golden god from Almost Famous. And don't say and stuff. Just say there's horsehair from The Nice Guys. That's a great one. Ethan did The Action is the Juice from Heat. We'll always have Paris from Casablanca. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination from Willy Wonka. Baby, you're gonna miss that plane from Before Sunset. I'm sorry, my pride is at the Cleaners, along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip flops, you pretentious douchebag from Social Network. And holy shit, I'm gonna come from Uncut Gems. That's great.
Amazing.
It's too bad because I have The Action is the Juice tattooed on me, and unfortunately my wife won't let me get holy shit I'm gonna come like plastered across my forehead.
smart.
Damn.
Yeah, tough beat on my end.
Tough.
I had Leave the Gun, Take the Cannoli from The Godfather. I'll Have What She's Having from When Harry Met Sally. Roads, Where We're Going, We Don't Need Roads from Back to the Future. I'm Having an Old Friend for Dinner from Silence of the Lambs. Why the fuck is it between that and Muhammad from Superbad? And In the Name of God, Do Your Duty from To Kill a Mockingbird. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Solid.
Well
Great
done.
draft.
Absolutely, guys. Well, again, next week, please watch Jerry Maguire to finish off the month of Tom Cruise, and then we'll be going into a little clue from the next month. The subject has been discussed in this episode. That's all I'll say. That's all. I know that me and Ash probably had the same thought of when
Yeah.
it was mentioned, and we're like, we'll tell you after this, Ethan. But Ethan, thank you so much for coming on. My bad about the technical difficulty. I can swear that it's all fixed now.
Thank you guys for having me on. Honestly, this was a great conversation. A Few Good Men, still one of the greatest courtroom dramas out there. And I love that I get the chance to draft in a stress-free environment. Honestly,
Yeah.
just not really. I not to say that there's not stakes, but I feel a little bit more laid back.
Yeah,
and I appreciate you guys bringing me into that. So
your
thank you.
draft was stressful as hell in like the best way possible. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, this is
that's
so much
great.
stakes. I was like shaking through it.
Yeah,
Well,
tough stuff over there.
I love it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, you've got all your links in the description as well. So if anyone, I'd imagine if they're following you, they follow us, or if they follow us, they're already following you. But if you don't, please go check out Ethan. He's one of the best. But until next time, I'm Harry. That's Ash. It's Ethan. We love death movies. We'll see you at the movies.